Aquarius, welcome back to Steampunk Psyche. If you are a returning subscriber, you have my love. If you're brand new to the channel or just cross-watching, I'm JT. Like I always say, Aquarius, sometimes the major and minor arcana line out with us in our week. Sometimes they don't. We're just going to use our best intuition, okay? Do keep in mind that I always place haiku poems right before your reading. That being said, shuffle up. Aquarius, I wish for you in this reading clarity. I wish for you in this reading for the universe to expose those who are out with in vendetta or any kind of ill will towards you, to oust them from your life. I wish for you a sign about your money, how it's coming in, when you need to take a move, when you need to take a leap. I pray for you that this reading will open up the door for love and opportunity, but mostly for those around you, begin to understand who you are. All right, we're going to look at the current energy. Oops, turn this around. How about that? Crossing challenge. Foundation. The recent past. Possibilities. Major arcana here. The near future. The self. The environment. Hopes, fears, wishes, or worries. And the outcome and the direction. Okay, Aquarius, I'm going to take a look at these cards, and while I'm doing that, here are your brand new poems from Haiku Corner. Talk about this reading when I get back. Okay, Aquarius. We open up the reading with the Four of Pentacles here, and I'll show you the down low on this. But what I kind of got is that I think you have some options here, especially in the way of relationship, and it's mostly in the way of relationship. So this reading is going to be a little specific for um, certain persons. Okay. Anyway, Aquarius, like I said, I feel like you got some options, and you're facing a choice here, whether to stay or leave. But I think something is about to come in. One of these energies is about to come in. It's going to kind of put you in a threshold of making a choice here. So, all right, I'll give you the down low here, and we'll talk about the cards. All right. Yeah, we're opening up with the Four of Pentacles, and I feel like what this is saying is like you're holding on to something because you don't want to repeat a past mistake. Okay, it's like emotional budgeting mode here. Okay, you're not cold, you're just cautious, right? And so you're not really like doing the texting here. You know, I feel like you want to see who's actually going to show up here. Like I said before, I feel like this is going to get pretty specific. So just take what fits. I don't know. It could be evolved around a money situation as well, or a choice about money situation. For some of you, it could be that you're holding out for a better offer for a job or something like that, but you're kind of having to. I don't want to sound mean here or nothing like that, but maybe you're having to like, I don't know, maybe you have to. I don't know. This is going to sound so bad, but suck up for a little bit. Not like in a bad way. Not like you're. But I feel like maybe you're just doing it just long enough to see if this other thing pans out. Like I said, some of you this could fit. Some of you are like, dude, what? But maybe, right? Okay. Anyway, if we're talking about that same kind of information, it would be the same for the relationship. You're kind of just holding into it because maybe you're waiting for this person to step up. Now, this doesn't mean, for some of you, this could be, you might be in a relationship, married or something like that, but I'm not really sure that this may apply. This could be somebody who may be in a, um, a non-monogamous type relationship, which is so totally cool. I get it. I'm down. We don't judge anybody here. But what I'm saying is maybe there's something in there. It's kind of a holding pattern, right? You're just really holding on to something. It's like maybe you're like, I don't know, you got receipts because I don't know, someone's behavior hasn't matched their words here, right? A masculine energy, it's kind of like afraid of losing you, maybe acting a little territorial in subtle ways, but then there's feels like there's this other energy who's like trying to protect your peace from someone who's draining you. So I think you're kind of like falling for the one. It just there's just multiple energies. We've got this King of Cups, we got this Knight of Pentacles, so and then this Knight of Swords energy coming in. So I feel like there's just maybe someone from your past that's like circling back. I don't know. I don't know if you trust it or not, though. I don't know. And it's kind of been slow. And the reason I say it's because we got this Knight of Pentacles here, but I don't know that you're sure of it. Maybe you're holding on to some kind of a dream, like quietly. Like I don't know, because you don't want to. You don't want anybody else's outside opinion. So you're just kind of like, you know what I'm trying to say, like you're holding on to it because you have intuition, you have insight, and we're going to find out, yeah, because the Moon card here as well and the Star. But I'm just saying, I feel like you're noticing who's been giving and who's taking, and so this is really changing your relationship dynamic here. Okay, let's talk about this Knight of Pentacles. We'll refer back to that. I'm pretty sure that this is going to lead us back here. Okay, that Knight of Pentacles is definitely it's slow progress, right? But I feel like this is testing your patience, and it may be a little intentional here, but this may be on your part. I don't know that this is necessarily on their part. I don't know. There is frustration in it though, because I see that with that death card. But I'm saying, or even the seven, of wands over here. But I'm trying to say it's like, I don't know. It's there's a frustratingly slow pace, but it never seems to disappear. Right? There's consistency in it. It's not flaky. Right? So it's got you, I don't know, not stuck, but you're definitely in this. I need to make a decision here because it's hard to plan around that, right? It's for some of you, this could look like the money improving steadily, right? Not dramatically, and that might be some of that stable energy I'm picking up on, but or maybe for some of you, there's a little more discipline at your work or something like that. Is just kind of I don't know. It requires discipline, so you have to kind of step up, and it seems like it's slow trying to move through that. But somebody's loyalty is definitely real here. Okay, this is the loyal card here, but maybe the communication here might be a little dry or just minimal at best here. But I'm just saying it's kind of got you feeling like you're waiting forever and ever, and it's kind of like get it together already, right? Whichever direction this leans for you, whether that's relationship or that work situation or money, finances. But I feel like maybe you're learning to trust, in this slow growth. You do have that seven of wands, and that just kind of tells me, the repetitiveness in this is definitely going to pay off. Okay. Because it shows you your boundaries, right? You're being asked to maybe commit to some kind of a routine or something like that. And, maybe that's going to help support your future self in that situation. Just kind of take what applies here. But I'm just saying, I don't know. It matters. You know what I mean? This is a card that matters because it's got that slow potential growth of something, but I just feel like there's a little bit of antsy involved here, right? A little bit on the edge. We're going to talk about the foundation here, though. We got this Two of Swords, and like I said, it's a decision, and I think it could be a choice between maybe a couple of people. It doesn't have to be, but I feel like that's where it's leaning here. It's and you're kind of avoiding this decision because, like I said, it's one of them you're kind of holding on to see if it steps up. The other one is like, I don't know, it's got a risky but definitely emotionally secure. So you're definitely in a position of choosing between two people. I say, hell, fucking tell them you want a throuple relationship. That way you can have both of both worlds. People get pissed when I say that. It's like, have your cake and eat it too. But I ain't the one who like agrees with the rules in this world. But I am just saying that somebody wants access to you, and maybe they can't read your signals because you're in this kind of a decision, decisive, pulled back kind of yeah, interesting. I was about to say interesting. You're in an interesting mood for sure. Um, you're torn between staying loyal to this past or stepping into the future, and so it's kind of got that ignoring the red flags because you don't want to have to start all over again, right? So just take this how it resonates. But the masculine energy here kind of feels shut out, and doesn't really know why. And so I don't know, maybe you're pretending like you don't care, but you do deeply. But I understand why, right? It's like you're trying to choose your logic over emotion here, even when it hurts. You know what I mean? So you're protecting your heart because I don't know, maybe you've been blindsided before, but here comes this energy, and it's like, yeah, how do I rotate through this? Um, but anyway, I feel like there's definitely a moment of honesty coming here. Okay, we're going to talk about your recent past. This will start to bring a little bit of light to this situation. You got the Star card. It is you. The major arcana, the Star, refers to the Aquarian, right? So what this is about, it tells me, people noticing you. Perhaps your social media went crazy, right? It took off, some post or whatever, or you got hella friends coming in, hella likes, or this is that job that's just, something just really lit you up, exposed you, something kind of just manifested in your world, right? And it kind of gave you that super hopeful, maybe more than you wanted to admit kind of energy, right? It could look like someone from your past or something that, you know, um, I don't know, something that you were reminded of that particular person. It kind of gave you that glow up situation. But I feel like this is attracting major attention, and without even having to try here, this is way more authenticity. And I feel like it's drawing in, the right people here. It's rebuilding your confidence, piece by piece, but it's also got, um, it's got that glow up, blow up. And I feel like I said, part of that energy is like, I, for here, I just got this reason, like a person is not trying to feel like, how can I say this? Like, you're not trying to show your ass. Mm, I'm for some reason I'm drawing a blank on how to say this, but it's like you're very, um, golly, I'm drawing a blank on how to say that. It's just old man fart, I guess, brain fart. You don't want to look like, you don't want to put on a facade, okay? And so you're very genuine, and so sometimes accepting that is very tough to do. I know y'all going to be throwing those words and throw them in there because I'm just drawing a super blank, but that's what I mean. The energy is like you're very timid. You don't really take that kind of attention really. You don't boast or brag or any of that. You know what I mean? So this is not one of those things where you put it all and flaunt out back. Not that that's a terrible thing either. It's just your sense of confidence is all within. You know what I mean? So I'll move on. I know you know what I mean. So anyway, but yeah, and the reason I'm saying that is because um, it's that rebuilding that type of energy. You're trying to reach back into that again, okay? And so that's made you kind of in this situation where now your choices are becoming way more, um, you're not going to deal with the manipulation. You're not going to deal with rejection. You're not going to, you know what I'm saying? So it's sensing that something intuitively, right? But you may not quite have proof yet. The reason I say it is because we do have the moon card. Could be dealing with Pisces energy as well here. You don't have to be fellow water sign, but I'm just saying something in this is all about mixed signals here. And perhaps it's that I don't know, maybe perhaps you're sensing the jealousy from that masculine energy, right? Pretending not to care. It's got, picking up on someone's anxiety or their insecurity. I'm not, there's a hint of it that might be yours, but I'm really leaning towards this other masculine. It's like, I don't know, they're afraid of repeating the past with you again. And so I feel like there's this closer to clarity than you think in this card. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, um, some of you are having deja vu. It's all about your dreams. Maybe some of you are dreaming about this situation, like trying to manifest this, trying to get this manifested, to hurry up because you feel a strong connection with someone and you're just trying to make sure, right? And so, um, really, that's kind of what I'm picking up is like the impatience of that. I'm sensing your impatience in this situation, It makes sense why, but I know you can't be doing that shit because the universe is going to have a lesson for you. There is a lesson in this moon. There is a lesson in that patience. Perhaps it wants it to reveal slowly so that you see the real, who's the real gem in this situation, right? The gem or the gent. So what I'm getting at is, yeah, that we're going to talk about this near future, and here it is. It's like the near future showing the Ten of Cups. So I'm really kind of like, I'm just kind of like taking a deep breath, going, cool, because this is what you're shooting for. It's here, right? This is all about the emotional fulfillment. It's, that person that finally expresses what they've been holding back. And so it's kind of like your intuition is like, oh, I mean, I knew it, but I didn't know it here. So, um, and I feel like there's something about this family dynamic, that's going to improve. Perhaps if this is one of those situations where you're bringing in another partner, you're already with somebody and another partner, this would be that, it's going to feel like it's supported instead of that drained energy. For some of you, that doesn't have to apply. Just take what fits. But I'm just saying, this is all about long-term vision here. The possibilities, emotionally chosen, that type of energy. Okay. Now we're going to look at the self, and the self shows up with the death. We could be talking about Scorpio energy here. We don't have to be, but we could be. Um, this is you're not who you were, 6 months ago, right? And people know this. Like I said, I'm feeling that other energy coming in, so this is all about ending those old patterns, not just a relationship or anything like that, but people are seeing, they're shocked at how much you've changed. Okay. And perhaps a lot of it is because you don't speak to them no more. You put them on mute. You go ghosted back. You're like done with that, right? So I feel like you're definitely letting go of a version of yourself that's like, you tolerated a little bit too much, maybe not enough of the emotional, structure that you were requiring, and so maybe part of that energy is what's coming back. We do see that with that Knight of Swords, and this boundaries card right here with the 7. So I definitely see that is, I'm not explaining myself anymore. We're going to move right into that situation as well. But this is all about becoming the someone who doesn't chase. You attract that same kind of energy here, right? And so it's proven by the 7 of Wands again. It's just back to back. This is all about the declaration. This whole reading is about just it's not about the pain and suffering anymore. Yeah, I think you can even look at that stuff and go, yeah, I've really grown. I have really moved through a lot of things and learned a lot from it. So to me, it's got a mature kind of an energy. This is doesn't. I'm not sensing this chaos or anything. It's kind of like if we're talking about a couple of masculines there. One of them realized, oops, I fucked up. The other one's coming at you 90 miles an hour. Okay. And we'll talk about it. But the 7 of Wands here is, you're seeing synchronicities around this person. You did have the moon card, right? So in the dreams, this could be like, the some of you might even have like matching initials, something like that, or anyway, repeating patterns of some type, some their name showing up in places. Okay, um, I feel like somebody, and it maybe that other masculine just feels like really intimidated by your growth. Okay, and so it's got them on the defense here. But I know you're setting boundaries, and people aren't used to that, right? So in one sense, it's that masculine really competing for your attention, and they're trying to prove themselves to you, right? But you're not as accessible as you used to be with that death card, right? So I don't know. People are just noticing your standards rising, and lots of things are being tested right now, but you're passing the test, okay? And here's where the if there's going to be some type of good news, this is all good news, but some of it seems a little bit on the negative side. But what I'm getting at is this is all about the clarity coming in fast. We could be talking about air signs here as well. So Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, right? But what I'm saying is you want someone to just say what they feel, you know? And this is also you not wanting to rush into things too quickly, but you need the honesty here. No more guessing games. Like I said, it's got the definite, I'm going to cut through, and it may be you're not going to, you're not going to take your time or be patient anymore with this. It's like, we're going to talk, but this whole of not saying what you need to, there's momentum in this conversation, not stagnation. So let's get through this, right? Let's do this. And maybe you're afraid of being a little bit too blunt, right? So this has got someone preparing to reach out impulsively here. And it's we need answers, not breadcrumbs, right? So you're afraid of maybe repeating that cycle, kind of withholding a little bit. And I feel like there's a timing between I don't know, maybe the next 3 or 4 days, something like that. I think you're about to receive some kind of clarity, okay? We're going to talk about this outcome and the direction. All right. We've got the King of Cups. Now, this is all about emotional maturity. Somebody is somebody's about to be way more expressive and show some kind of an emotional consistency in this situation. I'm going to choose you, right? This is all about the choice. It's emotionally safe. It's not chaotic at all. I'm not getting that at all. This is all about, um, you know, perhaps you perhaps you have this look or have known that there's something deeper, more intentional with this relationship. I feel like this is a totally different masculine here. So take what fits, you guys. I'm just saying, this is all about the emotional validation here, right? The sincerity, the apology, or finally feeling understood, instead of misunderstood. Okay. So this is definitely stepping into that emotional, the leadership of your own life here, right? And I feel like that information that's coming in with that Knight of Swords, this is helping you to become more self-aware. It's choosing that more selective, more emotionally grounded kind of energy. Um, you're putting the sword, in the sand like that, saying, I'm going to pull back. I'm definitely going to attract consistency. No more mixed signals. That kind of, you know what I mean. You're just kind of declaring, right? So, for some of you, it's all about money that's growing. It's all about their relationship, and both of them I feel like are taking place at the same time. So it's confidence. It's magnetic. And I feel like it's definitely an outcome that is like emotional maturity. Okay, and I feel like it's from you and from someone who finally is about to meet you where you're at. So interesting read. I'm going to leave it right here though, Aquarius. If you like the reading, give it a thumbs up, would you? Yeah, it's very mature. I didn't feel chaos. I just feel like somebody's just done with, I hate the word breadcrumb. That just sucks. We got to come up with something else. But what do you say? It's a freaking trail, right? And so you're trying to sniff out the truth. It leaves you in that position, and nobody likes to be there. It sucks. But Aquarius, I feel like there's somebody about to step up for you. Okay. Anyway, I love you. I respect you. I'm going to leave last week's reading right here. You can check it out. Maybe that energy kind of falls towards this. If not, don't worry about it. We'll leave it for someone else, right? Anyway, hope I get to see you on the next readings. All right. All right. Bye bye.